Hi there. So we have now looked in previous videos with Cubase how to configure it for audio, MIDI, and how to use the library to store presets in general. Now we will take things further with Cubase and see how to use it for external synthesizers and outboard gear. So how to use those and how to configure them in Cubase for workflow improvements or kind of fast access. So let's get going with Cubase. How to bring in external instruments like synthesizers and effects in Cubase. Let's start with external synthesizer, and we will need to go to Studio. And before we do these audio connections for external effects or instruments, we actually need to add a MIDI device. So you go into the MIDI device manager, and you have several options. You can install a device, but that means that it needs to be already recorded or defined by Cubase. So these are the ones that come with Cubase installation. However, you can define a new one, so you can create your own new one and define all these parameters over here, or then you could actually do a import and import a device. You could actually do a search in Google and try to find that does your synthesizer has a script for Cubase in that you could download and use. I already created one for myself regarding an Oberheim OBX8, so I don't need to now create, which I could do though. I could create a new one, but I already created one when I tested this, so I just need to then now import the setup. And I created the subfolder for myself on the MIDI devices, as I have also for MIDI remote. So now I just take the OBX8 from here and I say open. And then, of course, it could also import JD990 or Oberheim, but let's start with the OBX8, as that has been our example in previous DAW episodes. And now I do this, I connect it into my MIDI that I have set already. And for MIDI, setting MIDI and audio in Cubase, I have explained in other videos, so I will not go there in this, but check out the other videos that I have made on this topic. So now I have configured the MIDI device manager, so I'm all set with this one. Then I need to go to Studio and audio connections, and then add an external instrument, and then I could name that as a OBX8. OBX8, and now I need to associate a MIDI device that I have created or I have imported or I have installed. So anyway, this is how I do that, and then I say OK. So now I have it here, but I don't have the audio connection yet mapped, so I need to go to and map my audio channel for that as well. So I have the left and right channels mapped coming in, and then I have there my MIDI device. So now I should be all set. And then when I close this window and I go into the VST section and instruments, and now you see an external plugin, and the Oberheim is appearing over here. So when I pull it over here, it is basically in now as my like VST type of an instrument. I need to check it from here that it actually is sending it to the right MIDI channel. This I was not able to set somehow, but anyway, you need to verify that the channel is the channel that you use in your synthesizer, and you know this is set from the synthesizer that what MIDI port it is listening. But now basically you can hear the synth and you can actually play it as an instrument. You can also basically work with the gain. So when you open up this, so you get the delay, compensation and gain by default over here. You could go actually a bit more extensive with this one. You could create own panels also for your synth and control it remotely from the Cubase. But that's something that we might look into in future episodes, how to kind of send MIDI information on top of key note commands or notes to your synth. But this is how to set up a synthesizer. I could actually do, just for the sake of Cubase, because it's actually pretty interesting what you can do here with this one, is that I'll bring my KORG Wavestation AD into here as well. I found out that it has its own predefined setting here, so it's interesting to see that what comes along with that. So let's go and see. There was a KORG Wavestation somewhere here. Let's see. Yeah, there is a Wavestation AD. So I'll add that as a MIDI device for myself, and now I need to, of course, connect it into the right MIDI port, but now I have it. So let's add a KORG Wavestation, and I'll show something interesting. So let's create another audio connection, and let's add an instrument, and let's name that KORG AD. And let's associate the device Wavestation. Okay, that's that, and then okay. Then we still need to map the return buses, so the audio connections for it. So left channel and the right channel. And now we should be all set. And now you can see the KORG Wavestation over here. So once I pull it here, now I'm able to play KORG. But not only that, actually, this actually comes with predefined programs. So I could actually go from here and change the program with my KORG. So supposedly, if you have basically a if you have the default settings in your KORG, you can recall the presets from here automatically, and of course you can program that for your Oberheim as well, but that's quite a tedious process, and again we might look into that later on. Anyway, these are the possibilities what Cubase offers for the external synthesizers. So how to configure them, and then also that if and when you have a script that already supports the programs, and so you can recall any of the programs from here. So yeah, so that's with that. But let's then look on how to bring an external effect. That actually follows pretty much the same logic in the sense that you need to go to, firstly you need to go to a MIDI device manager and install a device. Surprisingly, I also found out that there is a device for Lexicon already ready-made, so we can just go and take that one, so we don't need to create any new ones. Let's see that I didn't skip it yet. The one thing is kind of like challenging is that you can't really search from here. So you need to basically then go and scroll and find the right one. So there it is, MPX100. So I'll take that one and I'll add it here. So then I need to also go over there and connect it into the right MIDI. So now I had already defined also Lexicon MIDI. So in order for effect to work, like it needs to MIDI synchronization, and that's basically it. So it's there. So now once we have that, we go back to the audio connections, and then we go to external effects, not instruments but effects, and we add an external effect, and let's name that MPX100. And then I need to, of course, here also associate the MIDI device. So now I have done that. So then I'm happy. On top of, I need to also define the send buses and the return bus. So now, of course, if you have and you don't remember, if you have your seed sheet, you can go to seed sheet and see that, okay, this is line 15 and 16 that is basically going out, and in is what I configured is 27, 28. So let's go back to here and audio connections and then do the mappings respectively. So let's do that, and then we need to also map the channels coming in, MPX100L. I had renamed this so it's much easier to find. So now everything should be set in here for the external effect to take to be used. So I close the window and I go into my browser, and now I have this external plugins defined here. So now I can take the plugin and bring it to the instrument, like for example to the Oberheim. And for this now I have the send gain and return gain, so I can define those. I can tune those for the insert. So now basically once we basically look into audio inserts, we have our MPX100 over there, so the external board, outboard. And then if you wanna bypass, you can clearly see that it's going through the effect. Makes the sound wider as it should. And you could also measure a delay, 1.46 milliseconds. But yeah, this is basically this is how you configure the external effect to be used outboard gear in Cubase. Same thing with the external effect, that if you don't find it from the list, you can always of course go and create one for yourself, and then you see the installed devices from here, and then of course if there isn't any, so you say define new, and then you create one for yourself, and then you will be able to use it. So that was Cubase, and last but not least, we will do it in Reason. So stay tuned, subscribe for the channel for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye now.